The following segments are pre-recorded and sponsored by Longworth Productions.
Fighting hunger on Triad Today. Hello everyone, I'm Jim Longworth and welcome to another edition of Triad Today, coming to you once again from the beautiful Senior Botanical Garden in Kernersville. We'll tell you more about them later on, and later on is when the roundtable shows up and we'll get into all sorts of controversies with them, so I hope you'll stay tuned. Lots of great guests, important information coming your way throughout the half hour, so I hope you'll stay with us the entire time. But where we want to start is talking about the problem of hunger in our area, what we can do, all of us, to abate it. We have three very special guests, and all three good friends of the show. On my immediate right, Eric Half, CEO of the Second Harvest Food Bank of Northwest North Carolina, and the Daggett Schuler guys, David Daggett, Griff Schuler from Daggett Schuler Law Firm. Welcome, gentlemen. Good to see you.
Hey, Jim. Good to see you.
Eric, let me start with you. Remind everyone what the mission of the food bank is, the geographical area you serve, how many people you serve typically.
Sure. We serve the 18 counties of Northwest North Carolina. We're based here in Forsyth County, but proud to serve every single one of those counties to make sure that our partner agency network of over 500 programs have food to assist literally over, right now, over 70,000 individuals a month.
Now, you mentioned the agency, so that gets me to this question. Let's also remind folks that although you do great work, folks just don't walk into the food bank and say, I need some food. That's where the agencies come into play.
That's exactly right. We have a lot of strategies to be creative to get food where people are, but our main one is through our wonderful partner agency network. You know, here in Forsyth County, where we're sitting right now, there's over 90 programs we support, and they range from maybe 10 programs in some counties to over 100 in Guilford County.
Right. All right. Now, I talked about in a typical year how many people you serve, but I know you and I've talked privately before about the fact that the numbers are increasing. The need is increasing. Why is that?
It's a great concern to us right now. We've seen, if you look at October last year compared with October this year, we saw 27,000 more unduplicated individuals access services. Those are kids, seniors, adults who needed to turn to our programs to be able to put food on the table. Why? It's complex. We've seen decrease in government benefits, but inflation is hitting us all, especially rent prices for low resource families, as well as childcare access. A lot of families aren't finding affordable childcare, so they can't go back to work because it is just simply too expensive. But also when you're facing rent increases of $200, $400, $600, that was your food budget.
So it's all piling up on them. David, exactly. How long have you and Griff and your team been involved with community food drives, for example?
Forever. It's part of our culture and it's part of what we do. And every time, by the way, I admire Eric and what you and your organization do. I'm kind of in awe of you personally. But every time I hear you give those numbers and talk about our community, I mean, I'm almost coming to tears when he's talking about it, because this issue is so important. And those of us that are so fortunate need to continue to spread that message about the people who are not so fortunate in our community, so we can come together and help them.
But Griff, I know that you and David and your team are active in so many different things that you could give time to, money to, whatever. Why are you so high on the food bank?
Well, one of the things is their longevity. They've been around for so long and doing such good work in our community. I think also, I remember the first time I really understood what Second Harvest Food Bank does. I think the way that they go about things where, first of all, they're trying to eliminate waste. So, you know, about half of the food that's produced in America goes to waste. So the concept of the food bank of trying to eliminate that waste, bring the food that's out there into food bank and then get it out to the people that need it the most.
Right.
I just think the whole concept, it sounds straightforward, but it's so important.
Yeah, the distribution network, and we'll get into that too. We're going to continue our conversation in a minute, but I want to put up on screen a couple things. Second Harvest NWNC, which stands for Northwest North Carolina, Second Harvest NWNC.org. Please check that out and support the food bank. And also, if you need the services of Daggett Schuler, you can go to DaggettSchulerLaw.com or call 724-1234. And as I said, we'll continue this discussion about our hunger problem right after this break.
Need help buying food? everyone needs help sometimes. Food and Nutrition Services may be able to help you buy food and free up your money for other expenses, such as utilities and medicine. To receive F&S assistance, households must meet income limits. You may be able to get assistance even if you own a home, car, land, property, or have a retirement plan or money in the bank. Second Harvest Food Bank of Northwest North Carolina team members can help you with the application process over the phone. To receive help or if you have any questions, call 336-422-7758.
Hi, I'm Jim Longworth, reminding you that Triad Today is now streaming on WFMY Plus, available free on Roku and Amazon Fire TV. Back now on Triad Today as we continue our discussion from a few minutes ago about the hunger problem in our area. Eric Taft is here, so are David Daggett, Griff Schuer. Eric, let me come back to you. Earlier we talked about the growing problem of food insecurity. What kinds of things are you doing to meet those needs?
Yeah, there's a lot of ways. Again, we try to be creative and innovative in reaching our neighbors who are facing challenges. So we started a mobile pantry that's going out every single day to different areas of the region, kind of in food deserts, so we can get food out that way. We also have a mobile nutrition unit that goes out in looking at providing people fresh produce and understanding how to use that. But also we've expanded our community meals work for healthy meals, working more closely with farmers, again, getting healthier food into our programming so we can get it out to those in need.
Well, when you talk about healthier food and produce, that reminds me that you and I talked about before about this new facility you have, which gives you some extra room to handle those kind of items. So tell me how that new facility is impacting your ability to serve the mission.
Well, there's a host of things. It has been an invaluable tool in our battle against food insecurity, but also around the root causes. So we've been able to enhance our culinary training program. We've been able to expand that to include barista training. And soon in the spring, we'll be starting our logistics training in collaboration with our good partners at Foresight Tech and Goodwill. And there's a whole host of things around nutrition and also our food distribution work that's happening. Again, the new facility is a critical tool. It's just a building. It's how we use it to make a difference is the key.
It's sad that we have to use it, but you have to have it for the distribution, as David was talking about, and Griff as well. David, let me turn to you. I know that you and Griff and I, and you've been on the show so many times before, we talked about all the great things you guys do in the community, like the backpack program, which helps kids get ready to learn. But that goes hand in hand with, hey, if you're going to learn, you got to have some food in your belly too. In general, how do you, in your support for students, how does that kind of community support help the students now and also when they get grown?
It's interesting. Eric used what has become a term of art for some of us, food desert.
Right.
And I think it's interesting for people to understand what that really means. We have pockets in our community where kids don't have either enough food or good food. They don't have a grocery store within a reasonable distance. And so what happens is poor eating habits develop, insufficient eating habits develop, and that affects the generation to come. I mean, they're going to be us one day.
Right.
And if we don't look after them today, our future is jeopardized, and we need to look after it today. Proper nutrition is such an important developmental factor for young people. In the food desert, which we throw out as a term of art, I hear that word and I get a vision in my brain of an underprivileged kid eating junk food and not having enough food. And
right.
We need to develop them so they can be healthy, productive adults.
Absolutely. Griff, I'm wondering what your advice is to businesses and why they should support Food Bank, because we mentioned earlier how you and David are active in community food drives. Why should businesses get involved?
I think it takes the whole community to get behind efforts like the Second Harvest Food Bank to really tackle poverty and help the people that need it the most in the community. If as businesses, if you can't do that in addition to, quote, making money, then I think you're thinking through your business in the wrong way.
Speaking of money, I think you have something you want to give to
Yeah,
Eric.
well, in addition, we have a food drive going on at our office right now. The pickup is this Friday. It's been a tradition in our office. We also have a check here. Give Eric.
That's
All
fantastic.
right,
on
way
the
to go.
spot.
Good job. Good job.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And personally, from Griff and me, we talk about you behind your back in glowing superlatives.
A lot of people do.
In glowing superlatives, and we appreciate what you do because it's making incremental, consistent, positive differences in our community. So
Absolutely.
thank you.
Appreciate what
Absolutely.
you
Good
do.
job. Up on screen, let's go to this one more time. Second Harvest, nwnc.org, and DaggettSchulerLaw.com, 724-1234. Guys, thanks all three of you for what you do.
you.
Special
Thank
thanks
you.
to Eric. We'll be right back after this.
It's hard to believe the Safe Sober program has been going strong for over 30 years.
And over 600,000 students have made the pledge to stay safe and sober on prom night. Griff, it's had a huge impact on our community.
Yeah, you're right, David. And now we're making sure the message continues year-round.
So everyone can join us in supporting our students.
Learn more and take the pledge at safesober.com, sponsored by Daggett Schuler.
Back now on Triad Today, always glad we can spend a few minutes with some of the folks from Alamance Community College. First-time visitor to the show, we welcome Darlene Listopad. She's department head for the nursing program at Alamance Community College. Welcome to the show, Darlene.
Thank you, Jim.
You oversee a long-standing nursing program at the college, an outstanding one. But I guess we want to talk about in the next few minutes that you have a new program. What is that new program, and why was there a need for it?
We are very excited about our brand new practical nursing program. So this is a one-year diploma program that will be offered at the college starting in January. And so our students will be able to start in January, graduate in December, and begin working as an LPN.
All right, now help me out. There are a lot of initials when somebody's
Yes.
a nurse, LPN, RN, all this. What's the difference between a practical nurse and other nurses? Help me out on that.
So each level has a different scope of practice, meaning what they're allowed to do. And that's regulated by the Board of Nursing and our Nurse Practice Act.
Right.
And so a registered nurse has a little bit more independence and autonomy in critical thinking and decision-making that they do
Right.
compared to each level kind of below.
Right.
So licensed practical nurse works just a little bit below what an RN does.
Right.
There's more limitations. They have to have things like a stable outcome for their patient, something that's going to be anticipated or expected.
But why, just to interrupt you for a second, why was there a need to start this program for licensed practical nurses? Why was there a need?
So we were already facing a nursing shortage with the retirement of all the baby boomers. And then when COVID hit, that pandemic caused a mass exodus of nursing. And we are actually facing a very extreme shortage of nursing. The NC NurseCast is, they project what our needs are going to be. And the supply and demand, we are going to be falling very short.
How bad is bad, though, Darlene?
In the Piedmont Triad area for the next 10 years, the projection is that there'll be a shortage of 6,800 RNs and 5,800 LPNs.
By when now?
2033. That's only in 10 years.
Good gosh.
Yes.
What do you say to encourage young people or people of any age to go into nursing as a career? What do you say to them?
If you have a passion for people, if you enjoy sciences, if you enjoy helping and making a difference in people's lives, this is a wonderful career. I personally have been a nurse for almost 30 years, and I cannot imagine doing anything else. The opportunity that we have to get into somebody's life, you were invited to somebody's life in the worst possible moment and have the opportunity to make a difference. And so if someone is passionate about that, I strongly encourage them for nursing. There's been changes over the years within generations that, my mom's generation, those baby boomers, they didn't have as many options.
But the mission is still the same.
Absolutely.
Also, before we run out of time, I have a few seconds left. There's a You had success with a licensure examination very quickly. What is that you want to brag about?
So the North Carolina Board of Nursing requires a nursing school to have, for the first time, test takers of the professional examination. It is the National Certification Licensure Examination. And you must pass that to be able to practice as a nurse.
Right.
And the North Carolina Board of Nursing requires schools to have 95% or higher of the national average.
Okay.
Our school, over the last 3-year average, which needs to be over 95%, is 96.7%.
Great.
Not only do we fulfill and meet that requirement, we have actually surpassed the state and the national averages.
I just think that's great, Darlene. And up on screen, I want to put this up. alamancecc.edu is the general website you can go to learn more about this. And Darlene, I appreciate what you do and how you do it, and being willing to train nurses, and so much in demand, and thanks for everything.
Thank you very much for having us.
We'll be right back after this. Hi, I'm Jim Longworth, reminding you to catch my column Longworth at Large and Yes Weekly every week. It's available throughout the Triad, or you can go online, yesweekly.com. Back now on Triad Today, we have a very special guest, first-time visitor to Triad Today. We're going to talk about a very serious topic, and we're so glad to have Dr. Ankur Patel here. He's an interventional pain physician with Novant Health Pain Management, splitting his time between Lexington and Thomasville. Good to see you, sir.
Yeah, thank you for having me today. I'm really excited to be here.
By way of Maryland and Virginia, and we're going to get into that too in a little bit. But hey, look, before we get started here, I want to make sure I'm clear about this. What is a pain specialist? What does a pain specialist do? I mean, I know it sounds like a stupid question, but...
No, absolutely. I get that question a lot. So I always tell patients that a pain specialist is a physician that has very specialized training in the field of medicine, specifically pain. So they've done residency and fellowship training specifically for this topic. And they really use a multimodal treatment approach, which consists of physical therapy, medications, and what I specifically do is like targeted interventions or injections to help patients with chronic pain. So a lot of these procedures we do are like epidural steroid injections or nerve blocks, or more advanced things like spinal cord stimulators, peripheral nerve stimulators, or minimally invasive spine techniques to really help patients improve their quality of life and function.
Sure. Now, what would you say are the most common types of pain that you see in your practice?
Yeah, I think I see a wide variety of pain, but the most common that I see is probably back pain and neck pain. And this typically kind of happens either from like a disc herniation, what patients kind of get like called like sciatica, or like a radiculitis or a pinched nerve. Other things are just general arthritis, that kind of as we age and we have degenerative changes in our body, we can have arthritic pain. Other things I kind of see patients with just joint pain, such as like hip pain, knee pain, shoulder pain. An area where I received a lot of training and an interest of mine is pain for patients who have cancer. So after they have oncological treatments,
right,
any pain that they have related to those treatments or like complications from those interventions like chemotherapy or surgery, how can we help best manage their pain and to help improve their quality of life?
Since I'm now considered by all standards to be elderly, I'll ask you a question about us folks. As you get older, is pain just something you have to live with?
No, absolutely not. And I kind of tell all my patients that there's a lot of new techniques and a lot of things that we can offer patients. And it doesn't have to be interventions. It can be just basic techniques in terms of like physical therapy to really kind of help patients kind of improve their strength and mobility. And you don't really have to kind of live in that. So there's a lot of different treatment options that we can kind of do. I tell patients that just kind of maintaining a healthy lifestyle, kind of like making sure you have a balanced diet, making sure optimal weight, correct posture, just kind of doing general basic things and kind of really optimizing your overall health. A lot of our bone, nerve, as well as muscle health is really correlated with our general health. So just really optimizing that with your primary care physician is really important to kind of just have a healthy lifestyle and kind of prevent or reduce pain.
What about all these pain pills and supplements? Let's focus on supplements for a minute. Vitamins and supplements. People say, oh, this vitamin will help you with inflammation. This supplement will help you with this or that. Are these claims true? Do supplements and vitamins help?
Yeah, so I think there's been a lot of push in the last about decade about different supplements. And I have patients always asking me, like, what if I try omega-3 or turmeric or other things? And I tell patients that we don't have really the evidence to kind of support this. It's really hard to know if these are going to be beneficial or not. But the one thing is that these medications are not really highly regulated, and they can interfere with other medications you may be on.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Now, is there anything, we're almost out of time. Let me ask you something. Will you come back sometime?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, before I lose time here, tell me about anybody in your family that was into medicine. Who got you into this?
Yes, I think I always had like a passion for like teaching, learning, as well as just helping others. And I think those were the kind of qualities my parents really instilled in myself and my brother. So my brother's actually older than me, and he's a pain physician as well. So I feel like I kind of always followed into his footsteps and kind of really enjoyed what he was doing. And he was a big motivator for me and someone I looked up to. So I was really happy to kind of be able to kind of embark on the same journey and be able to help patients and just really take care of people.
Sort of a hand-me-down profession. There you go. Hey, up on screen, Novant Health Pain Management. Lexington, you can call the number on screen, 481-1750. Thomasville, the number 474-7922. The general website is NovantHealth.org. Dr. Patel, there's so many things I want to ask you, so I hope you'll come back soon.
Absolutely. Thank you again for having me. I'd love to be here again.
Thanks, Doc. We'll be right back after this.
Are you looking to jumpstart your future in the fast-paced, rapidly growing food industry? In Second Harvest Food Bank's Providence Culinary Training Program, you'll learn the craft and art of cooking, plus business and management skills, science and nutrition, and essential life skills. Providence Culinary Training has helped hundreds of individuals just like you launch successful culinary careers. There's no reason to wait to turn your passion for food into an exciting career. Check out the upcoming class schedule on our website at providencews.org.
Back now on Triad Today, just about time for our roundtable, but a quick shout out to the good folks here at Senior Botanical Garden. Please come to the garden, check it out. Some big events coming up, workshops. You can learn how to make holiday flowers and all that. If I had some flowers, I'd give them to these guys. They deserve them. On my right, but always political left, Ogie Overman. The great and wonderful David Daggett of the Daggett Schuler Law Firm. We held him over from our segment about the food bank. Keith Granberry, founder of Helping Hands Consultants. All right, guys, 25 states now allow year-round school, and that affects over 3 million students. Education leaders say public school students are still way behind in learning since the pandemic. Would you like to see all North Carolina students attend public schools year-round, Ogie?
No, I think they need that break. I think it puts a lot of stress on them, and they're not going to really learn that much if they're under stress anyway. I think they need that summer break.
Mr. Daggett.
Well, first, we do have some all-around schools in North Carolina.
That's correct.
And our students aren't behind because we don't have year-round school. They're behind because underprivileged students didn't have Wi-Fi, they didn't have the tools, they didn't have the ability, they didn't have parents at home to instruct them during the pandemic. It is a major problem we're going to have to deal with.
Keith, year-round school?
No, I think that we need the schools to have the resources needed to teach their kids, and the kids that are underprivileged need to have resources in order to be up to par with other people. I think that's what has to happen.
Speaking of Wi-Fi, the FCC recently approved a plan to fund Wi-Fi in school buses starting next year. Now, some Republican lawmakers in Washington opposed the program, saying it's too expensive, and two, it's just going to give the kids more time to get on that social media stuff while they're in the buses, and that's not good for them. Are you okay with Wi-Fi in school buses, or do you agree with some of the lawmakers that it's not a good thing? Ogie.
I bet you it's not just Republicans. That sounds like a bipartisan issue that no, absolutely not. That's going in the exact wrong direction.
All right, David.
Well, I think Wi-Fi is eventually going to be everywhere, and I don't have any problem with it being on the school buses. Some students have a long bus ride, and some students use that to do homework. A lot of homework now is online. I'm not against it.
Keith. Wi-Fi in the buses.
I don't know about students doing homework on school buses. I don't know if they're doing that, but
I did.
See, you're different. See, but I think
I'd like to just take a moment to if we can hold this show in the archive. Keith Granberry said David Daggett is different.
But I don't think kids, you really should have phones, but I don't think that there should be Wi-Fi on a school bus.
An increasing number of law firms and companies are refusing to hire anyone who speaks out against Israel, and some companies won't recruit employees who graduated from a school who supports Palestine. Since the Mideast conflict is a religious war, Should and could these applicants file lawsuits for discrimination based on religious freedom, Ogie?
I think if it were a school that the kid has nothing to do with the school stance on Palestine. I mean, that's unfair as can be. I don't know if it rises to the level of a lawsuit. Mr. Daggett might
What do you think,
inform us.
especially if it's an individual who was active in support?
Certainly it could be. This is a knee-jerk reaction to a current event that hopefully, as a mature society, will blow over and we stop doing some of this nonsense. Depending on the specific fact scenario, certainly there could be a claim.
So Keith, you come and I won't hire you because you said something bad about Israel, and what are you going to do, sue or just what?
Is it a private business?
Could be a bit, yeah, these businesses are turning people away.
Well, private business has the right to hire who they want to hire, don't they?
They do.
So it's really hard, but you know, you would hope that there comes to some conclusion, because it's bad on both sides.
All right, New Hampshire is one of the few states in the union that does not allow early voting or mail-in voting. In order to avoid controversy over rigged elections, which some people say there are and there aren't, there's not really any evidence of widespread fraud, but anyway, just to avoid all that mess, would you like to see every state allow only same-day voting? Ogie?
No, absolutely not. That is really in the wrong direction. In order for democracy to work, the more people who vote makes democracy work better. That's the point. That's the exact wrong way to go.
I agree with Ogie for different reasons. Personally, for me, election day voting is kind of a personal ritual that I enjoy. However, I do know there's people for which early voting, absentee voting, other forms of voting are important for them to be able to exercise that right.
Should we only have same-day voting, Keith?
Absolutely not. I mean, voting, you should be able to vote as much as you can within the not as much as you can, but as early as you can.
I vote once, but yeah.
Not as much as you can. But I don't know who these people are saying there was rigged voting. There's no indication that any election has been rigged.
You might want to know for the record.
Please take that out.
Yeah,
I did not say as many times as you can, as early as the voting is possible.
Keith once voted 72 times for Joe Stein.
I voted 50 times last time.
This past Saturday, yeah. Are we almost out of time, Diane? Golly, what happened to all the... I had a whole bunch of things we were going to talk about. Well, anyway, we'll shift to the last one. Let's see what we can... Well, I don't know. Keith's different.
He's still voting.
Yeah. Finally, a USA Today reporter recently spent 2 hours lying naked in a dark chamber full of water in order to reduce stress. Guys, have you ever floated naked in a dark chamber, or would you, Ogie?
Well, we used to have a pool in the backyard, and at night I'd go out there and float a lot, and it's a wonderful experience.
Naked?
Oh, yeah.
Holy man.
I mean,
David,
we
what
had
about
a fence
you?
around it.
Would I or have I?
Both.
Yes. So,
I think it's... You're going to float naked to relieve stress?
You know, me releasing stress is not even visualizing these two floating naked.
Yeah,
so
that causes...
That would reduce my...
I
can't believe that.
All right.
No need to do that.
Fortunately, yeah, we'll get that image out of our mind. All right. So anyway, that's all the time we have. Oh, except for this. Recently, I think it was last week, on the International Space Station, 2 female astronauts went outside the space station, and they were supposed to make some repairs, but they let an expensive tool bag get away from them, which is now floating around in outer space. NASA says this marks a new era called the Me Too movement. So, see, they lost some tools.
Yeah, right.
All right, well, anyway, Ogie and David are going to go naked into a dark chamber, and we'll see you next week.